Good morning. Happy Sunday. So, this is day 3 of our live series where we talk about things that you need to take into consideration for transformation. If you don't know me, I'm Josephine Marcellin from josephinemarcellin.com and bradleygale.com. So today, over the last couple of days, the first day we talked about the importance of developing a morning ritual. Yesterday we talked about the importance of guarding your thoughts because thoughts lead to decisions, lead to results. And today what we're going to do is I'm just going to share with you a short story. I know it's Sunday and most of you most probably are just relaxing, and I don't want to take up any of that time because rejuvenation is absolutely critical to success as well. So today what I want to do is to share with you a little story, okay? And in fact, I hope that you pay close attention, take notes, because this, if implemented correctly, will leave you speechless as to what it can help you accomplish in the next 365 days. Okay? So, a few years ago, there was this professor who was teaching his students about time management. So the class was on time management, and the students were quite surprised when he walked into the room with a large jar. So he placed the jar on the counter and just waited for the students to be quiet so that he could start the class. When the students settled in and looked up, he said to them, is this jar empty? And of course the students looked at each other and said, what is he talking about? Is the jar empty? Of course it's empty. It doesn't have anything in it. So everyone said, yes, the jar is empty. So then he proceeded to reach under the desk, and then he took out a bag of large rocks and then proceeded to fill that jar with those large rocks. And he looked at the students and he asked the question again. He said, well, this time he asked the question in a different way. He says, is the jar full now? And the students looked at each other and went, the jar is full of large rocks. There's nothing that could fit into that jar anymore. So most of the students agreed, put up their hands and said, yep, the jar is full. And then he proceeded to reach under the desk one more time and took out another bag. In this bag, there were small pebbles. He then proceeded to throw the pebbles into the jar. And funny enough, the pebbles slipped in between the creaks, between the crevices, between the large rocks. And he was able to pour in almost the entire bag of small pebbles. So he looked at the class again. He said, is the jar full? And the class, about, I'd say 25% of them, they didn't know what to say because they thought it was full with the big rocks. And now it looks like something else was able to fit in. And so he decided, 25% didn't put up their hand, but 75% of the individuals did put up their hand and say, yes, the jar is definitely full. There's nothing else that can fit into this. But obviously, the professor wasn't done with them yet, right? So he went under the desk and pulled out another bag of sand and then proceeded to fill the jar with sand. What do you think happened? The sand again drifted through the crevices between the rocks and the pebbles, and he was almost able to fill the jar with the entire bag of sand. So now he looked at the students with a smile on his face and asked the question one more time. And the question was, is the jar full? What do you think their answer was? They were perplexed because he keeps asking these questions. They keep putting up their hands saying that, yes, the jar is full. And he always comes up with something more. So 50% of the class in this case decided to put up their hands and said, yes, the jar is full. Right? And with a huge grin on his face, he reached under the desk and took out a jar of water and proceeded to pour the water into the jar. Okay? The jar that had the rocks and the pebbles and the sand. And what do you think happened? The jar the water actually was absorbed by the sand, and he was almost able to empty out the complete jar of water that he had. So what does that mean to you, and why am I telling you this story? Remember I told you that this was a class on time management. And this story, even though it may seem a little bit abstract, is actually quite important. You see, there's a metaphor here. If you think about the size of the rocks, those are the big important things in your life. Those are the huge things that could actually help you make shifts if you decided to get them done. But here's the question. If you don't put those important things into your life first, if you don't make sure that you focus on those important things, schedule them in, and you decide to spend your time on all the little things, all the things that really at the end of the day doesn't matter. So what are those important things? Spending time with your kids, making sure that you exercise, taking care of your health, building your relationships, building relationships with your colleagues, building business relationships, personal relationships, right? Making sure that you take care of your spiritual and mental health. Those are the big things, okay? And if you don't schedule time for those big things, how do you think? Because if he had put in the sand or the water first in the jar, do you ever believe that he would ever be able to put the rocks in? Absolutely not. So the story today and my tip today is to make sure when you're looking at your schedule to put in the important things, the things that are going to help you make dramatic shifts. And then schedule all the other stuff around it, okay? This is Josephine Marcellin from josephinemarcellin.com and from bradygale.com. And this is your Sunday, day 3 tip of the day. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.